My
Yeah.
journey started when I was 12 years old,
Hmm.
and I stopped accepting lunch money from my parents.
Hmm.
And what I was doing is I was actually going down to then the local video store, which Blockbusters was still open when I was a kid. And
Hmm.
I will rent PlayStation games, Sega Dreamcast games, and I will copy them and I'll sell them to kids at school for like £5 a pop,
Yeah.
or I sell a few games for £10. So I was making like 50 quid a week
Hmm.
by selling basically my proudest moment, bootleg video games out of my pouch
Hmm.
in school. So there's always tech, always tech. When I was 16, I took things more seriously and I incorporated officially my first business, which was called Shig's
Hmm.
Computers. Again, all
Okay.
around technology. I had the fastest home computer in the world for certain applications. I had a couple of world records for having the
Hmm.
fastest home computer for certain benchmarks. I
Hmm.
built up a name doing that when I was around 16, 17. Um, but the whole time I was being very much pushed down the educational route by my parents because, like, what does a kid know?
Hmm.
And it got to the point where I started to import export quite a lot with China.
Yeah.
And I'm now, say, 18-year-old kid in business studies in college and not paying attention to my business studies teacher, ultimately because I had a business studies teacher who was trying to teach me about business, who's never run a business in his life.
Hmm.
So if I'm going to say, okay, my first real acceptance of being an entrepreneur was around when I was like 18, 19, when I had that dispute with that teacher, um, ultimately because I was earning 3 times his salary, running my own
Hmm.
business, and couldn't accept this guy teaching me about something that he's never done in his life.
Hmm.
Being an entrepreneur or running the business isn't something really that you get out of a textbook. It's
Yeah.
through the process of trying and failing and learning from failure do you refine yourself to become a better entrepreneur. So yeah, journey started when I was 12.
Okay. So what are some of like the failures have you overcome?
Um, Bankruptcy, biggest one.
Hmm.
Taking on debt early, uh, understanding really how to manage, uh, say, your ideas and expectations better. It's very
Yeah.
easy as a young entrepreneur to have 1,000,000,001 different ideas and think they're all amazing, and that you
Hmm.
should attack all of them at the same time.
Hmm.
Fundamentally, not the thing that you should do.
Hmm.
Being an entrepreneur is about incubating and trying to cultivate 80% of your plan and be humble that you'll never have the other 20%. The other 20% is made along the journey. It's kind of like building a railway track
Yeah.
while the train is breathing down your neck,
Hmm.
right? And you're laying down the road.
Yeah.
There's only so much preparation you can have, but a lot of it you just got to do along the way. And what keeps people going is, in my opinion, doing something that you are truly passionate about
Yeah.
and that you find fulfillment in. Because when you do fail, the thing that gets you back up is passion and love of what it is that you're doing. And if you can operate within that window and let that be your motive, you don't consider failure. All you see is a way of doing something that did not work,
Yeah.
right? And if you learn from that, then you get better, you get better. And this is why many of us say it takes 10 years to be an overnight success,
Hmm.
because the greatest investment is always going to be you.
Yeah.
And how you process failure will determine if you're investing in yourself.
Hmm. Okay. So where this passion for Bitcoin came along through your journey?
Well, I guess fundamentally it started off when I was a kid because, as I said earlier, there was a lot of economic instability in my household,
Hmm.
which was directly correlated to domestic violence in my household, and
Hmm.
had me as a kid questioning and wondering, the role of money. Why is it so important? Why does it influence so much of our actions? Then I got a more intimate relationship with money. When I was building and running my business, like I said, I took on some debts. I tried to expand beyond my means, and it caught me out. And then I had to come back into the UK. At then 19 years old, I was pretty much living just outside of Hong Kong in China, area called Shenzhen. And I went from doing amazingly well to being in an incredible amount of debt. And that is a very humbling experience. And if you don't have passion for the process, the craft, and what it is that you're doing, you're going to find a lot of these, say, challenges that come your way quite difficult to overcome. I don't know even if that answered your question correctly. What was the question? The second question?
Like, what's the overall passion? What's your passion behind like Bitcoin?
Oh, okay, behind Bitcoin, and how does it lead up to Bitcoin, right? So that laid down a foundation to make me a lot more sympathetic to the role of the economic system. Bankruptcy definitely solidified that, all right, look, like this whole money thing, there's something else behind it. That set me off on a journey of deep discovery, of really understanding how the monetary system works. And that's what made me realize that Bitcoin as a tool to bring genuine transparency to the economic system is not only essential, it is a requirement to truly liberate humanity. So the passion around Bitcoin really did stem from my early childhood and wanting to be free. And through my adulthood, wanting that for every single person on the planet.
So I would say, like, what's the mission behind this passion of yours?
It's you and everyone. It's humanity, period. It's doing your bit in order to make the world better, right? I'm very well opinionated. I've got lots of opinions on many things. But the reason why I vocalize my opinion so freely and strongly is because I know I'm building solutions. Otherwise, I'm just another idiot with a big mouth who's not offering any form of solution, right? Put your money where your mouth is, build, let your creativity flow, and be unapologetic for it. Because if your intent is pure, other people will resonate with you. You've reached out to me through my Instagram because you resonated with the things that I'm talking about and saying, right? So that's the effect that I want to have, right? And when you know that we do these things together and we just need the right incentives in place to have that magnetism, find each other and attract each other and build towards the same direction, which is a pro-humanity direction, then this great big grandiose task of trying to do something that is at this level and scale doesn't seem so big anymore, because you've got so many people behind you helping you and aiding you get to that goal. So my job and my role is just to be a spark to the engine that the rest of humanity hopefully bounds behind.
Okay. So when did you get first introduced to like Bitcoin?
First time I came across Bitcoin was 2012. And so I used to be a bit of a hacker. So me being involved in like the hacking community, what's going on in the hacking community was just like one of my hobbies and pastimes. I knew the most, I guess, famous hacker, a guy called Gary McKinnon. He's the guy that hacked NASA. I had a couple of very interesting conversations with him in person. And that's what had me, I guess, a little bit more sensitive to technologies like Bitcoin than others. But it was only really, I guess, 2013 where I started to like take it a little bit more seriously. And then I started to really understand it in 2014, 2015. Bear in mind, I set my company up in 2014. But I'll say by 2016, I would consider myself as like one of the experts on the planet with Bitcoin. Now I'll say like the expert. And that's just been from a case of really bringing alternative thinking to a very focused intent and understand, okay, if this technology really can liberate humanity, how? And can you do something about getting it out there so it does? So yeah, that's really been the whole motif behind Bitcoin. And I always say it quite often that almost sounds contradictory to be CEO of an investment firm, which is now building a bank on top of Bitcoin, and say, I actually find the price of Bitcoin one of the lesser interesting points. When you understand the technology, then you understand where the value is going to come from, and it's going to take time, but it really is going to be a very important thing to unlock and liberate humanity.
Yeah. So what's there's a lot of fear behind Bitcoin, like yeah, could you explain a bit more in detail? Because a lot of people have a lot of fear about Bitcoin and stuff like that.
Well, a lot of the fear around Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, I think, is justified, because we've had 10 years of everyone, including your Uber driver, trying to sell you these different digital assets. And 99% of the space is predominantly run by a bunch of cowboys with gold laced boots and rubies across them. That's the space. A lot of the space is money laundering. A lot of the space is facilitating forms of crime that I fundamentally stand against, right? And all under, unfortunately, the guise and the illusion of transparency and liberty, where it's bullshit. What they're promoting is anarchy. And I think we're seeing some really clear examples of idealistic thinking not matching the reality with what's going on in America right now. And you've got Portland, which the mayor stipulated that the protests will be like the summer of love. And they've had rapes, murders, drugs, prostitution, kids being murdered, police being severely injured. That's what happens when you have a unpoliced state where law and order takes a sidestep and you allow the ideals of these groups to be fulfilled in reality. And what you have is a situation in society that no parent would want their child to be part of. That's not what Bitcoin is. And these are the things that I fundamentally stand against. And this is why I'm trying to have a big mouth in providing education to the space to say, look, like, guys, what 99% of the space is doing is not what this space is about. And in fact, they deliberately did not want you to know about the 1% I want to talk to you about. So instead of, again, having a big mouth, the way that you silence people and the way that you bring mainstream is building a solution. That's why I'm building a bank.
Okay. So what's the mission behind Bitstock?
Mission, simple. To educate, to empower, and to evolve. Education, so things like my Instagram and our personal company Instagram, our company YouTube. I'm going to be very aggressive speaking all around the world and really help educate people as to not just Bitcoin, but the other aspects of technology that are important to extend the human condition, right? Empowerment is our banking ecosystem called Gravity. So we're that's a tool of sovereignty. And then the profits that we derive, we direct towards the evolution of humanity. So these are different things that I'm investing in, different technologies. I'm quite well connected in the free energy space, 0-point energy space, unified physics space. I'm doing some pretty interesting things around gravitational propulsion. There's a variety of different things that I'm very interested in that we as a organization want to help do. And these are the things that fuel us, again, as to why we're building what it is that we are building.
So who do you actually look up for, like, inspiration?
This is an interesting one, because like, I've been asked this question before. I don't want this to be construed as being an arrogant answer. The person that looks back at me in the mirror. And the reason why I say that is that, and I mean it, is my mission in life, and this has been this way for like at least 10 years, is to be a better version of myself tomorrow than I am today. And it's incremental, right? And if you live your life by that mantra, It's not that I don't respect, I don't appreciate, I don't enjoy the education and the company and the achievements of others. Not the case. I embrace others, right? But I'm also very much aware that that person over there is me. And this is where we get into like the deeper spiritual sense, right? So I'm not gonna idolize to be somebody else. I'm gonna better myself and continue to make a continuous investment in myself every single day to be a better version of myself the next day. It doesn't always happen. Sometimes I regress. Sometimes tomorrow I'm the worst version of myself, right? But as long as I'm aware and I return back to my center and that core mantra of developing and bettering myself on a daily basis, you'll find over any extended time horizon, you're evolving and you're pushing forward.
You have to have self-love, to be honest, definitely. But without self-love,
100%. 100%.
So what would you say some of your greatest accomplishments you would say?
First time ever I was asked to speak at a school. So this was a sixth form by none other than an old teacher of mine, head of year of mine, which I always got on with. But the head teacher of that school was someone that we both fundamentally disliked each other at school, right? And he always thought I'll be a failure, right? And didn't have any issues in vocalizing that. So for me to be invited to that guy's school by one of his teachers as an entrepreneur was awesome and a very affirming moment for me personally, because academia in the conventional mainstream sense is never really something that I kind of saw myself in. So to be welcomed back as an educator was liberating.
Well, so what's like some of the most greatest risks you ever taken in your life?
I'm always taking risk, but I never see it as a problem, because I'm always betting on myself, right? And if you're not willing to bet on yourself and be willing to fall on your face, then like life's just boring. And when you also, one of the very educational things about going through something like a bankruptcy is one day you are sweating, like you can't even sleep because you're so concerned about your debts and all of these other obligations that you've got. And then the next day they're wiped away, right? That was a very affirming experience. And that from a risk standpoint, if you process it that way, it made me very adverse against debt, to be fair. But in terms of like taking like entrepreneurial risk and endeavors, I was like, fucking hell, like money doesn't even freaking exist. It's just a scorecard, right? It's a fundamental component is taking calculated risk, by the way, not blind risk. But you must take risk for in the breadth of self-development. You must always take risk.
How do you actually continue to grow and develop as a person, as a better version of yourself?
Just ask yourself a simple question when you're ever presented a scenario which gives you two options. If I'm presenting a scenario that makes me uncomfortable, something that, then it's like, okay, it's do I want to be the other person on the other side of that scenario, right? Behind every single fear, genuinely, I believe, is the person we all want to be, right? So if I see something in front of me and I'm like, oh, right, and I really think about it, I'm like, what are you scared about, right? And by conquering that, do you want to be the guy who conquered that? Do you want to stand on the other side of that and say, I am, right? If the answer to that question is yes, then you do it. Like, as simple as that. Like, you have to do it.
Yeah, same as well. When I'm reaching out to you, like, I really need to talk to Michael. Like, his content is so like interested. So what else? Like, let's pull the trigger and reach out to him. And we're talking right now. So
100%.
yeah.
100%, dude. And that's a perfect example. Perfect example, right?
Yeah. So what advice you would give to like someone getting into business?
Advice that I'll give is understand that you'll only ever know 80%.
Mm-hmm.
And the other 20% you work out along the way. But make sure you prepare and you very well document your 80%.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So have a strategy, go out there, speak to other people. Don't be scared to network. Don't be scared to get your face out there. And don't be scared to get egg on it either. Right? Because if you're too scared to stand up and ask the question in a room full of people out of fear of judgment, ask yourself this question. Would any person in this room, is any of them going to pay my mortgage? Are any of them going to pay my rent? Are any of them going to pay my child maintenance or my child educational cost or my food cost? No. So what's holding you back? The judgment of who? The opinion of who?
Mine.
Right? Just get yourself out there. And this is something that took me years to realize, because I'm an obsessive individual in a sense of like, when I latch onto something, I go so freaking deep in and I hold on so tight until I emerge from that state with a new understanding, right?
Yeah.
Now, when you couple that with someone who is by default an introvert, you don't realize where you compare with other people in the world. So I was kind of like a hermit. I was always in my string vest at home, boxer shorts, making money behind a computer screen. I wasn't engaging with people, interacting with people, right? So this whole time, because I didn't go down the academic route, I thought that was a deficiency in my bio and in my MO, right? And it's only really when I got to about, I'll say 27, I'm 33 now, and I started to speak to PhDs, I started to speak to like people with master's degrees, and I started to speak to professors. I'm like, whoa, I passed you 3 years ago. And I didn't even realize. I thought I was deficient. I thought I was the one who can't see all the pieces. I thought I was the one who has missed out by not going to school and university and all the rest of it, right? But then when I was speaking to these people, I was like, oh my God, like I'm now educating the PhD, like seriously educating the PhD. And now I'm 33 years old and I employ a bunch of PhDs. And I'm still fulfilling that role while I'm educating, right? And that's what made me realize people confuse, I guess, qualifications, the education that people have with knowledge. Then just because someone went to an institution and got a degree doesn't mean that that person is necessarily intelligent. So having confidence in your understanding and how well, say, learned you are, and embracing it and projecting it is a very important skill. And it comes down to self-confidence, self-love, and all the rest of it. You must believe in yourself. And you can't expect others to believe in you if you do not believe in yourself.
Yeah. So you use like law of attraction to create and manifest a life that you truly desire.
Oh yeah, definitely. But the thing is about law of attraction is people only take credit for law of attraction when it's positive.
Yeah.
Okay. Law of attraction works both ways. So if you're in a negative state, you've got a negative scenario, you've got a negative environment, you created that too, right? If you're at home and you're miserable and you're by yourself, you're probably in bad company.
Yeah.
Right? So law of attraction works both ways, and people only really focus on law of attraction when it's positive. But you need to, if you want to wield it correctly, if you really want to wield it, and if you want it to be a tangible thing that you play around with like putty,
Yeah.
You have to understand that it works both ways.
Okay. So what's the purpose structure of saying affirmation?
Morning affirmations are strong.
Mm.
But like just breathing life into yourself, confirming to yourself, telling yourself, and speaking life into yourself is very important. What you say is up to you. It depends on the individual, right? But I'll tell you, even a simple thing, like to say the word problem is a disempowering word. Oh, sir, I've got a problem. Oh, miss, I got a problem,
Yeah.
right? You've already been defeated because you've called this a problem. Sir, I've got a challenge. Miss, I've got a challenge. That's an empowering word. That's a word where you rise up to the occasion, right? You roll up your sleeves and you go at it. If it's a problem, it's a disempowered word.
Yeah.
So you just got to be very aware of words, power of words, subconscious mind, conscious mind, and just tweak these things. Just keep you in a constant state of high vibration, and then you just maintain the edge on the rest of the competition.
So what book have you read that helped you contribute to your success?
Great ones are like How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's at really early days. Simon Sinek, really like his books. But for me, it's more science-based books. It's The Universal One by Walter Russell. It's cosmology. It's understanding that there's no such thing as isolation, right? Understanding what my role is in the universe and what all of our roles are and how we work and all the rest of it. But that, from a fundamental standpoint, gives you a very unique perspective on existence, your role in existence, how you conduct yourself, the energy you put out. So I wouldn't pinpoint it down to like any one particular book. Some prominent people I'll recommend people study and research. From a business standpoint, Simon Sinek, definitely. From a understanding yourself, Sadhguru, the Indian guru, Sadhguru. And also, like, I'll put in the same category more as Sadhguru, but this is more physics and science behind it. A very good friend of mine and brother, Nassim Harriman. Also a great person, because understanding who you are and getting a deeper connection of self allows you to attack whatever it is that you're attacking with true conviction. Yeah.
So is it you? Are you going to be writing any book in the near future?
Me and my team have like joked about it.
Yeah. I'll be on the list.
I want to achieve some more things. Then yeah, I would love to.
Okay.
I want to deliver on my intent. So once I get banking out there on Bitcoin and I bring banking to Africa and other places like Africa, then maybe I'm worthy of writing a book about. But up until now, I'm just another young brother who's just trying to do good things.
Okay. So where do you see its stock in the next 5 to 10 years time?
Being the central bank of Bitcoin. And being a strong voice and advocate for humanity, developing technologies that help purify and extend the capabilities of humanity, and kind of being a regulator on malevolent actors within this space who want to try and use this technology for bad. I definitely see myself and the company as stewards of humanity. And just being acknowledged as such would be a great success.
Are there any like special region you're looking to like tackle first? Is it Europe first, then Africa, Asia?
Yeah, so we serve UK, Europe right now today. We're going to continue to build our services in these jurisdictions. But for instance, today I've had 2 conversations about Africa and what our plans are in Africa. But realistically, it's at least 12 to 18 months away. So right now we're just really pinpointing down our UK and European plan while we roll out our strategy plan for the rest of the world. But regulatory wheels turn slowly, legal wheels turn slowly, and we do everything properly. But yeah, these are our areas of interest.
Okay. So is there like a minimum like investment when you invest it into like big stock? Because I want
Yeah,
to learn a
so
bit.
with the Gravity platform, you can buy and sell Bitcoin from as little as £1. There isn't really a minimum. You get onboarded, sign up, very slick, sexy onboarding process. You could be onboarded and account funded within minutes. So it's the best place in the UK and Europe to buy and sell Bitcoin. And our banking services, which will release in probably about 12 months. Again, similar scenarios. It works just like how Monzo or Revolut works for you. The difference is it provides all the Bitcoin aspects and the transparency that Bitcoin brings. So, yeah.
All right, Michael, thank you for your time. Are there any last words you can share to everyone? Like, how can they reach out to you, social media?
Yeah, so look, just so anyone's watching this, please, I hope the thing that comes across with me, and if you follow me on socials, is to hold yourself in high vibration, to love thyself, love your neighbor, and build solutions. Because I think we're in a beautiful time, even though it's 2020 and everyone, the world seems very crazy. We're in a beautiful time where humanity is on the cusp of a evolutionary leap, which is why it feels so uncomfortable right now, because we're not the caterpillar and we're most certainly not the butterfly yet. We're this in-between stage of metamorphosis, and it's through people becoming more aware of what we can be will determine if we transition into the butterfly or not. And yeah, just deeper connection with self, and all of your business aspirations, your life aspirations, your impact will be more obtainable and achievable, and fulfillment will be what you receive, as opposed to just riches with an empty hole. You want riches, but you want to be whole, right? You want to be fulfilled. And to do that, it's all about helping your fellow human beings and building things that change people's lives. So if you're an entrepreneur, you're thinking about being an entrepreneur, you've got to think, what can I do that helps change people's lives, helps improve people's lives because of the skill that I possess? And then you find your way in life.
Great word. So what's your website?
Oh, so Instagram, BTC Hudson. Website is www.bitstocks.com. Our YouTube is Bitstocks Media. So yeah, just check us out, as well as at Bitstocks on Instagram as well.
Okay, great. Thank you for your time, Michael.
DM, and you just went through it and asked the question. And now I'm like third person that you've interviewed. Keep doing your thing. Keep raising your own vibration and your own confidence. And again, be willing to get egg on your face. So just keep going out there, keep going. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you.
All right.